Welcome to the deep dive. We take source material you provide and really try to pull out the most valuable stuff.
Exactly. Extract the core insights.
And today, we've got something pretty personal. It's an account from Janiya Kelly. She's a recent first-generation undergraduate, and she's reflecting on her whole journey.
Yeah, and what's great here is it's direct from her. It's Naya's story, the highs, the lows, the challenges, what she wants to do next, all in her own voice.
It gives you that really close-up view, doesn't it?
Totally. An intimate perspective.
And she covers so much ground, like being seen as academically gifted really young, this passion for sports that emerged, then navigating some serious challenges of the pandemic, losing someone important, and then, how she picked her university, which is a fascinating bit.
Oh, yeah. And her future plans are pretty ambitious, too.
Right. So, okay, let's really get into it. Starting at the beginning, those early signs of academic talent.
Well, it seems like it was spotted pretty early on. She mentions the GATE program back in 3rd grade.
GATE.
Yeah.
That's gifted and talented education.
Yeah, exactly, for high-achieving kids. And it meant she was doing, 5th grade work in 3rd grade.
Wow.
Which really shows, not just her potential, but also how important it is when educators spot that early. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah, how many others might slip through without those kinds of programs or that kind of attention?
Right.
And it definitely shows that early drive, that knack for learning quickly. If you're listening and you like soaking up knowledge fast, you can probably appreciate that in her story.
Absolutely. But it wasn't just academics. She found something else she really clicked with.
Ah, yes. Track and field.
Yeah, discovered a real passion for it. And get this, after only 8 months of training, she qualified for the Junior Olympics.
8 months. That's incredible.
Isn't it? And she did it again before even starting high school. So clearly she had the talent and the dedication.
It shows how success can pop up in different places.
Definitely. But then, well, things took a turn.
That's the surprising part, right?
Yeah.
This promising track career just stops when she hits high school.
Yeah, an abrupt end. It's kind of a reminder that life isn't always, a straight line. Paths change, things happen.
And that shift sort of leads into a tougher period for her in high school, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, first you've got the whole world dealing with the pandemic, school shutting down. That was hard for everyone.
For sure.
But on top of that, Naya went through a really significant personal loss. She mentioned someone called Cowboy passing away.
You can really feel how much that affected her in the way she talks about it. She mentioned struggling with her mental health, losing motivation for school.
Yeah, it's a tough reminder that, school success doesn't happen in a vacuum. Our emotions, what we're going through personally, it all plays a huge role. Grief can just sap your energy, your focus.
Totally.
But here's where her resilience really shines through, I think. Despite all that, she mentions getting support from her family, from counselors, and she managed to pull things back together. She still graduated with high honors.
That's pretty remarkable, considering.
It really is. It says a lot about her inner strength, but also, like you said, how vital that support system is. Many of us know how much that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. That thread of resilience, we saw it early on, but seeing it reappear after those challenges, it seems like a core part of her story.
Definitely.
Okay, so after high school comes the big decision. University. She had quite a few options, apparently.
She did. Lots of interest from schools with psychology programs. She lists Michigan State, Kent State, Oregon State, U of O, Arizona, and Grand Canyon University. A really diverse group.
Speaks well of her high school record, getting into all those places.
For sure. And what's really interesting is how she made the final choice. She was leaning towards Oregon State initially.
Right. That was her plan, it sounds like.
But then, literally 2 days before the admissions deadline, she switches. Commits to Grand Canyon University.
Just like that. Any idea why the sudden change? Did Oregon State not have something specific or?
Well, that's the fascinating part. She says herself, to this day, I still don't know why I chose GCU. It just felt right, and my gut feeling was right.
Huh. Just a gut feeling.
Yeah. It really makes you think about intuition, doesn't it, and those big life decisions. Sometimes the logical spreadsheet pros and cons list isn't the whole story.
No, sometimes you just feel
Yeah.
It raises questions about how much we should trust that feeling versus, the rational breakdown.
Exactly. It kind of aligns with ideas about emotional intelligence playing a part in good decisions, even if we can't articulate the why immediately.
Makes you think about times maybe you've done that, just gone with your gut against the apparent logic.
Totally. And it seems like for Naya, that gut feeling paid off because once she got to GCU, she absolutely flew through her program.
Yeah, accelerated is putting it mildly. A 4-year degree in 2.5 years.
Insanely fast paced.
And she wasn't just studying, right? She was working, too.
Oh, yeah. Seriously working.
Yes.
She mentions holding down 2 jobs at one point, and then later, a full-time job as a registered behavioral therapist, working with kids on the autism spectrum.
Okay, so let's pause there. A behavioral therapist for kids with ASD that involves helping them with challenging behaviors, building social skills, communication. That's demanding work in itself.
Extremely. So imagine doing that full-time while cramming a 4-year degree into 2.5 years.
That's a recipe for burnout, surely. I mean, it's incredibly impressive dedication, but is there a risk you miss out on other parts of college or just exhaust yourself?
Well, she's quite open about that. She acknowledges it took a massive toll, mentally and physically. Even says doctors told her to take a break.
But she didn't.
Nope. She says, I couldn't. I had a goal, and I was set to accomplish that goal. That determination. It's pretty intense.
It really highlights the power of having that clear objective. Sometimes maybe that focus can push you through things that seem impossible, even if maybe a break would have been healthier long term. It's a tough balance.
It is. But she reached that goal, graduation.
And that moment, getting that degree, clearly meant a huge amount to her. She emphasizes, I did it on my own.
Which is interesting because she also thanks her family for their support and encouragement.
Right, it's nuanced. It's like saying, yes, I had cheerleaders, people believing in me, but the actual hard yards, the academic slog, that was me.
Exactly. It acknowledges the support system but claims ownership of the achievement itself. And you can feel the pride there, deservedly so.
So she graduates after this intense period. What's next? What are her plans now?
Well, first up, she mentions wanting some time off from school.
Can't blame her there.
Not at all. Seems very sensible after that pace. But her longer-term aspirations are really quite striking. She wants to enlist in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
And specifically work in their mental health unit to support soldiers.
Wow.
Yeah, she talks about wanting to give back to the soldiers who feel like they have no one and to battle the mental illness that comes from being in war.
That's a powerful motivation. Shows a real depth of empathy, wanting to help people in that specific high-stress environment.
Absolutely. And she even has a backup plan if the Air Force doesn't pan out.
Which is?
To continue as a behavioral therapist, but shift her focus. Working with adults who have severe mental illnesses or issues with addiction, that kind of thing.
So still very much in the mental health field, just a different population.
Exactly. It paints a picture of someone really committed to using her skills to help people dealing with significant challenges, whether through the military or civilian routes.
When you pull it all together, the early talent, adapting to setbacks, trusting her gut, that incredible drive, and now this desire to serve, it's quite a journey.
It really is a combination of factors: adaptability, resilience, intuition, sheer hard work, and this core desire to contribute.
Yeah. For me, the real aha moment is seeing how that academic drive wasn't just about grades. It seems connected to this deeper commitment, this willingness to serve, and that courage to trust her own path, even when it wasn't the obvious one.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it leads to a thought for you, listening. Think about a time you faced really big challenges. What helped you push through? Was it something inside you or people around you or maybe a bit of both?
And what about those gut feelings? Have they ever steered you in a major decision? How did that turn out? Worth pondering.
Definitely.
So this deep dive, we hope to give you a really thorough, but also, engaging look into Naya's own account of her experiences and where she's headed. Some valuable insights there, I think.
Absolutely. A remarkable story.
Thanks for joining us.